We are live. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing well. Today we're going to be doing something a little new. We're going to be continuing the all the here, let me focus this camera down so get this thing level. So, what we're going to be doing, are we focused? There we go. We're going to continue working on all the environments and props, but just like how we started in the beginning with more proppy type things, little established items within this town before I jumped on to more kind of like environment stuff, kind of gathering, what the environment looks like here. We're going to go back to the prop thing. So we're just picking and selecting things. This one specifically is going to be with the tools that they use, and if I have time, the various tools that they use, like hammers, axes. It's a cold environment, so they're working a lot with wood and rock, a lot with the earth. So you need to have the tools to be able to work with earth. So, yeah, like hammers, like axes, like I don't know if I'm gonna be doing knives, but hammers and axes for the most part, like ice picks, um, and just things to break up ice. So hopefully, I can use this entire page, or maybe I can use the back side of this page finally, because all of these pages, because they have like works of art on them, I haven't used the back side of them. Unless I could use the back side of this page, I would have to move the camera over. Yeah, let's not. Let's see, like I don't want to draw on the back of that one. Wonder if I can. Or yeah, I'll throw sketches on this side, and I'll put like the official works over here. So I'll probably use a little bit of both. This has got to be fun, staring at a blank page. But yeah, so it's gonna be a lot of axes, so a lot of hammers, a lot of things. I'm gonna try to see if I can like piece them together, because I've always been like a fan of like samurai swords, and the way that they piece a sword together is just like, a step up from your everyday tool. So I think, in order for people to live in this sort of climate, the tools that they have to use are extremely important. They have to be top notch, at least by standard, um, or else it's super degradable. So yeah, let me just start drawing, I guess. Are we up at the top? We're up at the top. Yeah, so there's some interesting things to the anatomy of an axe. I mean, essentially, there's this triangular shape to it, but then you could build off and angle these triangle shapes a little bit differently. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. These things are getting bigger. Hold on. I'm going to try to control this a bit. So like an equilateral one. One that hangs a little bit lower. And then one that aims high. There we go. I don't want to make these too big because I want to fit a lot on this page. So you got to think of axes kind of like a triangular shape, and obviously triangle shapes can take many shapes. I mean, if you're familiar with triangles, then just start with that, and then you can build all sorts of shapes. Let me get these sizes under control. You always want to start off properly. That's why I'm readjusting and recalibrating the size of these things, because this is going to determine how the rest of the page looks and goes down. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. So 10 across, I should be able to fit plenty of tools going downwards. Right now, I'm just going to focus on separating the tools into their separate elements, like, the metal part of it, and then the bridge between the metal and the handle, the wooden handles. Um, the small items to piece them together, and then the handles themselves are all gonna have different. And then you know some some sleeves to cover the blade for some of them, maybe if I have the space to do it. Um, I don't know how necessary that would be, but to put axes have covers for them. You don't want the blade just hanging out. Not exactly child friendly. So you may So yeah, this one's kind of like a straight up blade, points up at the end. This one's flat at the top, but curves at the bottom. And the thing to think about axes is they're kind of like knives. They're a little bit sideways to a knife. It's what makes them a little unbalanced. When you hold a knife, you can feel the balance in it. But when you hold an axe, you can feel the weight pulling. So yeah, you could start to see how these simple triangle shapes can now all of a sudden start to make different axe shapes. And I think you're going to start seeing it get a little bit more funky looking, but still correct looking. Once we get to these further end ones where it's like, oh, I don't know, because when you think of an axe, you probably just think of something pretty standard. But yeah, just like if you look at a kitchen knife set, put a hook in some of these things because sometimes the hook will come in handy when you want to. Probably throw some weight on this. All right. You get these, they're going to start to get a little funkier and less straightforward. But yeah, if you look at like your kitchen knife set, holy crap, is it raining? Oh man, it's raining. Okay. This one starts down here. And you see this blade starts to aim upwards, which gives it a whole different function. And then it curves back. I'm getting a little crazy there. Gotta stick with the scale. That's why I drew out these triangles to begin with, so I can keep the scale of the blade how I needed it. And kind of just draw the handle so we know where the handle is on these things. But just direction wise. And you see this blade's a little more hooked. Probably make for a good bottle opener, you know, as opposed to these other ones. This one might as well. There we go. Let's see. Hmm. There we go. That's what I needed to do. Hey, what's up, JJ? Sorry about that. I forgot to pull up chat so I can see it, man. I've been trying to focus on how to go about starting this page. But yeah, I'm doing just different props for the land. So it's gonna be like axes and hammers. I hope you're still there. Let me pull up the dashboard so I can see chat, man. So sorry. I hope I didn't keep you waiting for a while. But yeah, just focusing on axes, hammers, pickaxes. Then I'm gonna work on the handles of them later, kind of the construction of them, different classes of them. Just starting with some like low tier, like level one hammers or level one axes. I was talking about how the shapes of these things are a lot like triangles. So you could just draw random triangle shapes, and then you can get a whole bunch of different looking axes. You know. All right. Oh man, looks like I missed you, huh? It's my bad, man. This one's a little more broad. There we go. Now I feel bad. Every time this happens. So, dummy me. I get so focused on the art that I forget to check. Well, that sucks. Yeah, so these little things that I'm drawing at the bottom here are basically kind of like washers and screws, or not screws, but the washers and nuts, nuts, before getting uh, to get it to the handle. Three, four. So yeah, this one kind of comes down. Okay. So yeah, just shaping these blades out. Are we focused? Oh, why is this thing not focused? There we go. So yeah, man, just off the rip on some basic level 1 axes, you can see how you can get a whole slew of different ones, and you can imagine the different ways you can use these ones. The, the angle of the blade can determine the angle of the swing that you have to do, and the angle of the swing is, of course, whether you're going, straight up and down, sideways, on angles. Some of them have like extra bits, like there's like a little bottle opener type of actions, or like hook and grab things. Uh, so there's a whole slew of different things when it comes to even how you can use an axe. Um, what I want to do is up it a bit, and do some bigger, bigger, badder axes. But still, it's the same concept of you could just start with a triangle and and there we go. And then depending on the angle of the triangle that you draw, and you could draw any sort of triangle. Really doesn't matter, does it? You know. Hmm. There we go. I wanted to get a little more hardcore blade in there. One with and the way I'm thinking about doing this is with a clasp. So you would fit the handle like a normal one, but you'd have to slide it through this bottom piece. And ultimately what it does is it gives your hand an extra space. So you can imagine someone fitting their hand in here, and how big of a blade and axe this is sort of like a heavy, super heavy uh, so yeah, there's a class linking this bottom bit together. And yeah, just throwing a little hammer point on the back. That way we have like a hammer and an axe. And then this is, you can see how this becomes like level 2 right away. Yeah. There we go. You know, maybe one with a smaller blade for more and then a giant, big ass blade. So yeah, you got one tiny blade, so this one kind of cuts on both ends. And if you got to do like major work, boom, you have that. But then if you need to dice it up into smaller pieces, so it's kind of like really breaking things down, you got that. So you have like a hammer blade here, a double blade here, and I mean, you know, the it goes on. You can make any shapes that you want. Like I said, all I'm doing is starting with a triangle. And like I said, hammers, axes, and picks, ice picks. So here, let me show you that. Two, three, four. And notice that these top ones have 3 screws. These have 4 screws, just giving it like that extra bit of stability. Yeah, I'm trying to think. If you're able to put your hand here, you probably want to put a guard here so your hand doesn't go sliding all over the place because you're going to have a hand down here at this end And if you double fist this giant blade and you have a hand in here, you're probably going to want a guard up top. So yeah, you just give it a washer on each side of the handle here, and then you put the guard up in between. So you put washer, guard, wash. That way your hand is safeguarded, and because you're gonna be pushing down with it, and if you don't want to push and have your hand slide past and kind of throw you off. So yeah, man. Anytime you're dual wielding something, chances are you're gonna need a guard for the dual wield. If it takes two hands to handle, you're gonna want to dual wield that area just to balance yourself, because people are human, they make mistakes, and you might be off balance, and the last thing you want to do is be off balance around the blade. And yeah, let's just throw a funky shaped blade on this one. It's almost like you can jab this one forward. And yeah, just ice pick on the end, just to really jab at things. So this can hammer something down, this can dice things up, and then this can really break some ice. So that way you're not doling the blade here, but you just smash it with this end, and yeah, you got yourself some ice breaking going on. So let's see. Hmm. You go with your standard axe. So here's a variant of a level 2 blade, or a level 2 axe, where you get, you know, a shorter head but more stability within the handle. And yeah. Yeah, see, now I'm just having fun, man. This is. And then something I was wondering myself earlier is like, because, you know, you have your axe, which is, you know, a triangle, like I've been drawing. But then you can, your blacksmith can, just like I was saying, like, you can jab forward with this one to cut straight. Um, if you had a poker, there we go. So you can see like a similar blade here with just additional function. And I imagine you could probably just do this with every blade, you know what I mean? Create multiple. Yeah, let me make this better. And that's just like a straight up knife, like you going to jab somebody, almost like a bayonet. I mean, I guess it is a bayonet at this point, you know. So you have a three-sided axe, you know. So it's similar to this one where you have, you know, a big chop, mini chop, and a stab. I mean, you start to see how deadly these weapons. You see how these things can get deadly real quick. How you just get a creative blacksmith and how that spells, you know, doom and gloom. Let's see, are we focused still? Yeah. All right.
And Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was launched pretty much within a month. Holy shit. So by the time this was hitting the PlayStation, people were already about to play Marvel 2. And the game was pretty much all, I think it was either a launch title or it came out a month later on Dreamcast. It was comically late to the party. It was like, dude, when the fuck is PlayStation Marvel 1 gonna happen? Because I was planning on getting it on PlayStation when they first announced it, and it got delayed, and it got delayed, and it got delayed.
There we go.
It got on console. And then the Dreamcast version
So
came
yeah,
out.
now you know, hopefully this helps you understand just like basic axes. Um, then we can do.
Yeah, it was a couple weeks after Dreamcast launch. It wasn't after launch. It was very close. What the fuck? Dramatic zoom of a tech throw. What is that? I need to see this shit again. Dramatic zoom. And of course, you're playing as Reverse Wolverine because why not?
All right.
Oh my goddamn! Holy shit! My
I mean, I guess if you wanted to get crazy with it, you can create super blades. Um,
Just to try to make it look different or unique without like altering the game, you know? Just to add impact to your combos with no budget.
ones that are a little bit more artisan.
Yeah, I love the way Ryu's fireballs look in this game. I completely agree with you. I think they look better than Marvel 2. Oh shit, War Machine in crossover? This is unfair. PlayStation's having some tough time with this shit. You're not gonna be able to kill, right? Oh my god, it's cheap as fuck! I wanna see Mecha Zangief. Oh, I got Lilith.
And you know, back to the kitchen knife set
She just uppercutted the shit out of the love fireball.
theory.
Let that dig it, let that dig it! Mecha Geek wasn't a sub boss in this game? Who am I thinking of? It was Lilith, Old War Machine. I think Red Venom is a sub boss. Shadow Lady's a sub boss. Orange Hulk. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Orange Hulk. That's what I'm thinking of. I'm like, there's other like big body characters somewhere fucking in here. Damn, Gander refuses to be thrown. Dan rule. Was US Patriot? No, US Patriot
And you know, you have steak knives,
is hit and assist character. So he has like one move. He's not actually playable. US Patriot, I think, was
so you
actually
can have,
playable.
you know, an axe with a serrated edge,
Was
much like
actually
that.
playable in Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ken. Yeah, US Agent was his name. He was playable in the one before this game. Sick. Full invulnerability. Full hit stun. Oh my god, full invulnerability. The easiest way to kill this boss and the way
Man, it was just pouring outside. Now it's no, not so much.
Yeah, that onslaught is Magneto and Professor X like merge. So it's something that was happening around the comics at the time. Behold my team. Damn, teleporting through it. Holy shit. This is fucking sick. Oh, I'm gonna kill with a hypergrab? I love it. And there's Sean because
So yeah, these serrated edges, obviously if you have a steak knife set, which I believe most people do, to really tear in through things, you still have the chop here on this side, and then you can carve on here, and then you have a miniature carve there. I imagine this would probably be about the size of a steak knife. Maybe it's slightly smaller, but yeah, something like this can do some huge damage.
so yeah, it was funny. They were hilariously unplayed cabinets. Go back to the camera. Let's see what else you've got. I think these are fantastic cast videos, because they really try to demonstrate and show off a lot of shit, as well as like telling the story.
Hell, I mean, even this thing at the top there could be
I didn't even really hate Street Fighter 3 New Generation.
like a
I just
bottle
like
opener or
Street Fighter
something.
Alpha 2 so much more. I thought Street Fighter Alpha 2 was the best Street Fighter. What are these KI? These old KI? Oh, fuck, they are. I gotta watch this shit, dude. I gotta watch this guy's Super Nintendo. Really? SNES version? SNES KI. Kind of shocked. Fucker. Fight off. I played this game quite a bit. Okay, he has the speed on insanely fucking high again. I'd love to see some crazy bugs. Right now it's just fucking real fast. These are all just regular four-door combos. Jump cancel. Jump cancel into Dead Body Ultra. Nice. Alright. That's cool. I wonder what else he's got up his sleeve. I'm pretty curious. Dead Body Ultras are kind of fun. Okay. Alright. I see you. I can't even parse any of this. What the fuck is actually happening? I
There
love
we
that
go.
figure so much. This part wasn't that bad.
More
But it was
artisanal.
incredible. This part does its best to
One,
preserve
two,
the
three,
all-in-sync
four.
gameplay no matter what, while still being a
All right,
decent
see
looking
if I can
game.
fit 8 across here.
Everyone sort of thinks that Killer Instinct SNES looks as good as the arcade. That is just some ancient rose-tinted glasses. Nice! Cool. Alright. Alright. Pretty sick. This is the only version of KI you played. I don't blame you. There's not many ways to actually play classic KI unless you had an arcade version or you bought one on Xbox. The only time the first Killer Instinct was ported in any way
I don't even know. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I have a Max Dude playing in the background. I can't. I don't even know what he's talking about anymore. Started off watching Guilty Gear stuff, and then he went into like Marvel vs. Capcom stuff. I guess he's talking about like some dude who codes, uh, pushing the technology to the limit. Who throws code into fighting games? So the coding is doing the fighting, and it's putting things at an input that I guess like
Well, that's easy combo breakers too. All right. Did KX Dance come before the Super FX chip? No, way later. This game was actually towards the end of the Super Nintendo's life cycle. This was like in like mid late '95. Stick, fucking stick. Oh, did this age well for me?
look at that. You got this double-sided blade.
I love glitch ultras and KI. What the fuck? He didn't even land. We're gonna have to go back to KI1 at some point and try to get the glitch ultras chat. I remember there being a very popular one that people used to do in the arcades where Thunder would be like uppercutting you with his mohawk on the ground and you'd be like 30 feet in the air still getting hit by it. Nowhere close to it. Sick. Uh-oh. The gripper sounds terrible. Ultimate. Nice. But we didn't see him do an ultimate yet. Pretty sick. This port is very impressive because of the music, the fact that the characters can still do most of the things they could do in the arcade. Their animations are mostly preserved. There's just way less frames of
And
animation.
then I don't know what else can we do.
You know the craziest thing, chat? Killer Instinct 2 was pretty much made for the Super Nintendo. I think I can talk about this, and I think we've talked about it before. Um, I think it's known somewhere if you're out there, if you paid attention to it. No, not KI Gold, not KI Gold. They made a KI 2 for Super Nintendo that was pretty much done, but they scrapped it at nearly like 90 to 95% completion because they had to make Who really is shit. Which Nintendo's the Dolphin again? That's the GameCube. Give me 1 second, Chad. I've been fun watching these. I think we should watch a few more. I'm enjoying this severely. I still want to play some Dragon Ball though. Here we go.
So yeah, serrated edges on the inside, serrated edges on the outside.
Sorry. Squeaky door. Very squeaky door. Terrible. Yeah, it doesn't actually seem like there's a lot of insane broken tech to show off during this run, you know? That was pretty fucking weird though. And his combo went sweet. Poor dog. Yeah, laser fatal. I think probably a TAS of arcade KI might be better.
Whew.
There's a way to delay your enders in KI. See how the ender doesn't actually combo? Opener, middle, and then ender, but the ender is not actually counting for the combo. Where the ender is essentially unfucking blockable and does unscaled damage. KI1 is so fucking wacky. It's not possible to link the triple beam at the end of a combo without the speed up code. Oh, so speed up code actually fucks up the frame data of the game. They need to make an arcade one-up version of this? They are. They actually are. It's coming out soonish. I think they're taking pre-orders right now. God damn, Ron, the way that sounds. Holy fuck! I haven't heard that full combo in so long. I mean, it's a little faster than I remember. Just listen to this shit. Oh, Jesus!
There we go.
There's something about the way classic Forest hit combos sound, right? Something about like the ramp up of like that just feels so good.
So yeah, super killer type blades. What else can we do?
Jesus.
Maybe we can get the
Nice, I love it. That's the good shit. That's the good shit.
Are we still focused? Yeah.
What just happened? What? You know what I think it is? I think it's when you land
Yeah.
hitting against the opponent
Hammers are
KI.
also pretty similar. I don't know if I need to really design a hammer, do I?
What you really hear in OKI is this. Like you hear the
Now,
opponent.
if you ask me, I think a hammer. If axes are triangles, hammers are more like
Attention to what combos sound like
rectangular,
compared to newer KI. Newer KI
even
has like
square,
this
depending on what you're
board. In older KI,
designing.
really emphasize the audio on the person receiving damage. Wait for it. You know, it's funny. It's like a difference. I think older Mortal Kombat, yeah, older arcades kind of did that too. I kind of like it. You're not even really hearing your own attacks. You're hearing them reacting to every single hit. Now you're never gonna not notice it, right? Now you're never gonna not notice this shit. You're gonna hear this all the time now. Right? You're never gonna not hear that. That's now what you will hear every single time you watch older KI. Cool. Neat. Please watch the KI build video. I mean, the endings in this are pretty basic. The endings in this are made in the same way that I had to make the endings in KI through like machinima and stuff like that. Let's just take. I love it. Let's just take we're just gonna take a piece of the stage from one place, and we're gonna take the sprawling bridge. We're just gonna move it like it's production line of 4, isn't that gonna be our ending? That's a good idea. With the assembly line of 4, man, I believe it. I believe it. It's a good idea. Because the older KI had these like CG endings and shit, and Sticks could not pull any of that shit off. Seems legit. Damn. Holy fuck. Jesus, I forgot about this. What? I have to read this. Hang on a second. There's so much text. Who's. Okay. You are victorious. You have done it all and are ready to battle the best KI players. You beat IO with one hand behind your back, and you crushed everyone else. You can't get any better. You are now the sensei. The only Kinlaw wrote this personally. The only thing left is to give to the less fortunate and teach your skills to the pathetic, dribbling Holy shit. I haven't read this since I was like 12. You will go down in the record books, become a hero, a legend.
There we go.
By all people will fear you. People will love you. People will want to be like you. You will reign as the true KI champion forever. Or at least it's okay, I do. Damn, is that the best ending in fighting game history? I think it is. You know? I think this is actually the greatest ending in fighting game history. Incredible. Thank you, Kenlock, for writing that. I know it was you, Ken, right? I need to get confirmation at some point. Somebody's gonna clip this shit and send it to Mr. Long on Twitter. I have not read this since I was 12 years old, but very good job. That's a very good ending. Very good ending. Is this real? This is the Super Nintendo version of the shut up. What else we got in here? I'm almost curious to check out a Mortal Kombat pass. You know,
I should definitely be upgrading. Have my blue pencil ready. Here I am shading with the red pencil. I always told myself I wouldn't do that.
Cabal pass? Nah.
And yeah, while hammers are
Yeah, if it's the SNES version, this is going to be hyper fucked up.
got a little more focused hammer, more of that. So this is more like a mallet, I guess. But yeah, you know, mallet, hammer, and mallet. You know, we got the hammer with the axe over there. You can basically combine these things in
Okay.
any sort of way.
Ballin'.
So yeah, I wonder.
What is this run canceling shit? Whoa! Uh-oh. Late fatal. Oh my god.
And then if
Uh-oh.
these, if
Oh my fucking god. What the hell? What the hell? Okay, this is fucked up. Where'd she go? Where'd she go? What? Where did she go? Oh shit.
holy shit, now this guy's watching MK3.
I can still move for some reason. Uh-oh, I'm scared. Okay, got the restand. Got the next restand. Got another restand because why not? Because if it's frame perfect, of course you're gonna get this restand after restand. God, 86% damage combo, no big deal. What? What? Where are we going? Where are we going? Where are we going? Why is this happening? Why are we going to hell? What? Where are we going? Game was officially cursed. I have a cursed cartridge. I have to take it back to Blockbuster. Oh, this is good. Yeah, I'm glad we clicked on this one. I'm very glad we did. Can deeply appreciate what's happening here. What the fuck? Oh my god. Uh-oh. Late fatal.
So yeah, more of
Well, the SNES version is different.
a hooking
The SNES
pick,
version is
I
different. I've never
pick,
played all the
ice
games that
pick,
lots of people play.
and then some stabbing ice picks. So you can see how these things, they're all interchangeable. You can kind of combine any and all of these.
Wait, second player? What the fuck? They had low health. What the fuck?
But yeah, let me
Oh, this must be some crazy input glitch. Right.
move on to.
Why is this so fucking sick? Why is this so fucking sick?
Move on to like handles and things like that.
That was weird.
Oh, yeah, let me do this.
Dude, the jab run cancel shit has to be insanely precise. 96% damage, no worries. No worries.
Yeah, I was looking at this one.
Hold on a second. Wait, what?
There we go.
That's fucking incredible. Kamal gets a moonwalk. What the fuck, dude? Oh shit. That's a very entertaining task. Deep appreciation happening here. Holy fuck.
Alright.
Fatality. Alright. Shows off a unique finisher for like every round. I love it. That was what?
I wonder if I want to look this up.
Oh, big what? Oh fuck! Oh fuck! The card. Mom, the cartridge is cursed. Mom, the game's trying to kill me. Mom, the game's trying to kill me. Mom, help! True story.
Oh.
Yeah, that slam of the explosion of them dying is funny as hell.
So I guess you can have, as far as like grips go for these things.
Cute. Very cute. Uh-oh, he didn't do much against Motaro, right? Cheap-ass Motaro. Yeah, he like won't let you do a lot of cheap shit against him. He doesn't act like another character. Yeah, it only can get so crazy against Motaro, you know? These lame-ass bosses. Yeah, take that. Cheap shit. Maybe I can get some cool shit against Shao Kahn, because he can actually juggle Shao Kahn, yeah. Yeah, the shadow looks funny. Fuck. Oh, I wonder if we're gonna be here all day. Brilliant AI. Nice, kill him! Kill his ass! I love it. Okay, send me to dyslexia. Home of epilepsy land. These games did not care. Like, these games did not give a shit. Cabal with this deck. I hate Cabal Pie in the old one. It looks so weird.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that was nice. That was as good as I thought it was gonna be.
Before I continue, I got just this basic wood handle. Let me finish this. Let me finish this handle first. But I got to put on some more coffee, man.
That's KI2 Arcade. And it's a dude from Brazil.
Okay. Just a basic wood handle. Nothing too crazy about it. It's all extra crude, but still has something there for.
The little joke with Tusk that he pretty much says "duh" at the end of everything he does. He goes "duh, duh, 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 duh." It's like the character. Jesus. Oh my God, the side switch.
Yeah.
Ah! Ah! Just love the
I'm gonna go make some coffee. I didn't realize what time it was, but I will. BRB.
oh fuck. Rated Ultra? Nope. Same finisher. Ultimate. Ah! This is you actually want to know. Yeah, these are just what Ki2 combos look like, right? A lot of these Ki2 combos function the same as like Ki2. They're hard to do, right? They're definitely harder to do. You have to have very precise input response to these. This is just what Ki2 combos look like. Damn, no TP though. Holy shit! Slow down. Yeah, get the slow mo there. Computer's just gonna block everything. It's the way it's designed. Oh, parry! Yes, this game actually has third strike parry. Full ultra. Here we go, boys. Here we go. Ki2 ultras are hype as shit. Hype as shit. I want to watch it again. I love the ramp up of speed in Ki2 combos. I think it's just very entertaining. Here's a shadow. Shadow. Shadow again. Another shadow. And then go into ultra. Sick. Fucking sick. 68 hits. Sorry, it says 68 hits. Yeah, Ki2 ultras are hard to do.
All right. Wait, where's my water at too? There it is.
Oh god, parry. And now the damage? It's actually kind of crazy that the computer isn't breaking any of this shit. I wonder if there's a way to like prevent the breakers? I don't know much about Ki2 to be honest.
So yeah, hopefully this is helping people understand. Like, you know, there's a million ways to draw anything. You know, as soon as you find what the basic structure of it is,
Shadow.
then you can go in
Shadow into ultimate.
and start playing around with some of the concepts.
If you get parry
You know,
into
just basic,
combo,
you know, mallet, hammer.
is this competitive
Ice
Ki2?
picks are even like half the size
Ki2
of a
players on
hammer
computer
as far as like the rectangle itself. So let's say this is a 2x1. This would be like a 4x1. You know what I mean?
Goddamn Jago skips
And
over.
then,
Hear this shit?
you know, there's all sorts of different triangles, equilaterals, isosceles, and all that stuff, right angle. triangles. So as soon as you know how to break down triangle into its different shapes, and you just play around with that, and you can put the points anywhere, and you can come up with the wildest stuff. And then it just becomes about like, okay, where's the balance, where's the handle, where's the blade, and then you know what I mean. And then, handles are going to be different. That's what I'm getting into now. Blades are all different. You have like all the smooth edges, and then you have like these serrated edges. I'm sure there's more edges, and then you can even do like the textures. Like I look at Shun Cutlery, and they're a super dope knife, knife like creators. So you can get like these custom handmade knives to put into as a kitchen set, and they're a little like nicer, sturdier. I'm interested in getting a set for myself, instead of getting just like a Walmart set of kitchen knives. They work. They're not that Walmart's bad or anything like that, or Target or anything like that. But those are like mass produced, where Shun Cutlery isn't. And I'm sure there's other brands. That's just the one that I'm aware of because of the Joe Rogan Experience podcast. So, um, but yeah, if you look at their work, they will like make the blades like stylized, like the way that they work the metal, and then they sharpen it and smooth it out, and temper it and all that other stuff. The way that they go about it, they create all these crazy textures. Um, so then that's just another level of like, oh, you could draw, you can design and throw those textures in there. If I was working digitally right now, I probably would. Like I could take all these designs and then break them down into like rough metal, so that way they're kind of like really rough looking, except for like the sharpened edge. And then I can do that like Shun Cutlery style, and just take whatever textures they have and then overlay them on here. That might end up being what I have to do uh, in order to really finalize these things. And then, even the wood, it's like, is it stained wood? Is it just regular wood? Is it dark? Is it light? Things like that. But this is just like a basic handle. I'll probably go in there. You got to throw, you could, if you wanted grip, like you could just lace it with a thin strip of leather. That way your fingers at least have something to grip on, so you're not sliding. That's why this is kind of like super basic, for everyday use. But then, I'm gonna kind of go up in grades a little bit, and then I'll have gone through half of this page, and then on the bottom half I'll probably continue with a few other tools and things like that, some flags, some draperies, because I have flags all over the place in these ice towns, um, all that stuff. I really like this idea. Um, the double handed axe. I feel like I could take this concept and really push it to a crazy to a crazy part, which I may when I start working, getting back to the environments and stuff like that, and getting into the inside of the towns and all that other thing. Like,
Yeah, they changed Tusk a lot, right? The redesign is much different. He's just Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? In this one, he's just Arnold, Conan. Jesus, Fassbender.
so yeah,
All doing Fassbender.
it's all coming along. All right. The coffee's still brewing. I'm still gonna have to go up and get that. But while I'm waiting for it to, I guess, like simmer down.
I don't remember seeing very much of this
what am I trying to do here?
500 recordings in the second. That's not easy to do.
Oh yeah. You know, you can put pommels at the end of these things.
Do the AI programs on the TES know what the opponent is going to do? Yes. I mean, when you're fighting an AI in a fighting game, it has a predetermined amount of things that it can do, and it can only be so random. A programmed actions are going to take into account what the computer's going to do at any given time. Damn that stun timer. The sound effects that go up here, anything that's stick.
Nice.
Oh my god. That was sick. Hitbox is lowered to go right underneath it. Weird. Set up for unblockable? No. Oh my god. And the taunt? Yep.
There you go.
That was a funny feeling. GMrDrwe, thanks for the prime sub, dude. There's some weird shit that happens in bonus stage bonus track if you set it up right. What? Should we attack from off of it?
So you can like loose lace it, you could tight lace it. You can have like these thick bands of leather. Alright, I'm gonna go grab some coffee.
Weird. Very weird.
It's definitely gotta be hot and ready at this point.
For the music. Oh shit. AI's pissed.
Whatever. I'll be right back. Drink some coffee. We'll be going on 2 hours. As a matter of fact, let's cut this one off. I mean, if we're at 2 hours, and I mean, I thought I'd get a little bit more done, but don't I always? It's always good to know your limits. Um, but yeah, did a bunch of axes. You can see there's all sorts of different axes. Maybe I'll go back and kind of clean these up a little bit. Um, maybe even color them or something. But yeah, 2 hours of work. I think you get the gist of it between, you know, different handles, different tools, different, you know, variations of tools, things like that. I think you know, these will be the main things that people are using. I mean, even if you go back to, you know, my original thing here, that's one thing I forgot to get around to. But, you know, I have like hammers here. I have a shovel. I forgot to get the shovel in there. So maybe I want to work on some spades. But here's like an ice pickaxe. Here's you know, spears. Um, so you see, I was already kind of thinking there and going there with certain things, and this is what I mean by you know, these tools that people have lying outside. Um, but yeah, this is, and you gotta imagine, you know, tilling the land probably will, those things will come in handy, especially the ice pick to ground up the dirt and all that stuff and keep it from freezing and all that other stuff. So you constantly poking into it, breaking it up. Um, but yeah, so you could see like, okay, this is how it would work, and yeah, man, this has been pretty cool. So we're gonna keep this at 2 hours. JJ, my bad, I missed you. You, I wish there was like little sounds, a sound option, because then I'd definitely use that to. Since I don't have too many people chatting in here, I could afford to put a sound option. So anytime someone does pop in and say something, I at least get an alert to it. Um, but yeah, so sorry for missing out on you, man. But yeah, I think this is cool. I hope this helps people, especially you got you gamers out there seeing like the work that goes behind, you know, all the tools and weapons. We didn't even get to like guns and bows and you know, projectiles and things like that, um, which I may end up doing. We'll see. But yeah, I think this is a good place to end because I'm about to go grab coffee anyways. So let's just call that that. And we'll pick this up because I only got half the page, so I'll finish throwing more things in there on a later episode. But for now, I'm GMrDrew. GMrDrwe.art is my website. Check it out. GMrDrew on all socials. Follow, like, and subscribe me. That way you can keep up with everything that I'm doing. All the artwork and portraits and traditional art that I've been doing. Um, you know, all the stores and everything like that that I have. You know, I'm always throwing things out there for you for y'all to enjoy and wear and be a part of this whole thing that I'm doing. And yeah, man, you have been watching the Andrew Glowczewski Experience, episode 41. And these are the tools of the trade.